What is up, everybody? Brett here, long time no see. Stoked to be bringing you guys another new game for the channel. This game is something I've been playing in my free time, off camera, as kind of a de-stressor, I guess. And I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to make any videos on it, but I haven't made any videos in a long time, and I hate to just leave my channel just sitting there with no content. Guys, Backpack Battles, it's a demo, it's on Steam. I want to say it's free. But it's pretty hot on YouTube. You can find tons of other people playing this game. Like I said, I'm playing this in my downtime. By no means an expert, but I have enjoyed it. You see my rank here. I've gotten a diamond on both of the characters multiple times and then fallen back to platinum. There's still characters that haven't been released. It's got a very kind of fun anime style, I guess. You can change up wardrobes. You can... I don't know. That's not really my thing. But what I do enjoy about this game is the actual gameplay. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read the Steam page here. It says an inventory management auto battler where you fight other players with your backpack, buy and craft powerful item synergies. Developed and published by PlayWithFurcifer and IndieArk. Okay. And the full game is set to release in April of this year, 2024. Okay. So we're going to play some ranked games. I don't particularly care. New unranked game versus new ranked game. I just always play ranked. Even when I'm testing builds and I know I'm going to lose rank, I don't really care. So, how to explain this game? Well, we have a couple different classes, right? They start with different types of gear and a different type of bag that has different effects. So there's going to be a lot for me to explain here. I'm going to do my best to kind of give you the quick and dirty version of everything, because I think most of you watching at home have either seen this already or are going to pick this up pretty quick. So we start with a certain amount of gold. We get gold every turn, and that number does increase. We have a certain amount of HP that we go into battle with, a certain amount of stamina that does regenerate and allows us to use our weapons. Weapons do use stamina when used. This gives us a good indication of, you know, whether or not we have too many weapons, the round number, how many wins we have, and we're trying to get to 10. And then once you get to 10, you can kind of go into like in extra rounds, right? You can do extra rounds for extra points, but if you lose more in terms of rank. And then, you know, your hearts. So here's the shop. We buy things from the shop with the gold we have. We can re-roll the shop for 1 gold. This amount actually I think goes up as we roll, if we roll too many times in a row. Items can be moved around in our inventory. They can be combined. So here we're going to buy the broom. Take a second, read it. In terms of its damage, in terms of its cooldown, which is how many times it attacks per second. Its accuracy. You see its effect there. It causes blind, which can decrease opponent accuracy. The main reason I'm buying it is because it is on sale. I'll probably buy this on sale as well, just because when we sell it back, you get half value. But because it's already on sale, it's essentially free. So all that stuff we're going to get into later. Lump of coal does different things based on what type of item you attach it to. So you'll see here we have a little socket that pops up whenever we hover over the lump of coal. So if we put it on a weapon, it gives us a 70% chance to deal 1 additional damage on hit. If you put it on a piece of armor, you get 7 armor in battle and you resist 1 debuff. And if you just sit it inside your backpack, it gains a random buff, inflict a random debuff. Okay, so I don't actually love this stuff. I'm going to buy this, put it in our storage. I'm going to roll. I do not like to roll. Hold on. I do not like to roll on my first round. I like to just try to buy everything in the shop. I think that's usually a good way to do it. There's no real room for this pocket sand. I'm probably just going to end up selling it. Now, I do know that the walrus tusk, which gives me spikes, think of it as thorns in any other game you play, where if I get hit, it returns that much damage based on the amount of thorns I have. And then a whetstone here, which buffs weapon damage. And we'll get into these stars and things like that and these blue lines. We're going to combine the walrus tusk with the wooden buckler to make... Let's see if I go to recipes here, and you'll see there's some items in the game I still haven't made. They're very difficult recipes to get a hold of. I should have made this one already. But these items are very new. as is this platinum credit card, and this is super hard to make. I've gotten close a few times. You have to make all of these guys, put them next to each other, and then make that guy. I've never quite been able to pull it off. But anyway, what was I going to show you guys? We were going to make, here, the spike shield. So in case you ever get confused, you kind of forget what the recipes are. As long as you've unlocked it once, it'll show you up here what you need in order to make that particular thing. And you'll see here that I reserve these items. That way when the next round comes along, I'm just going to sell this. When the next round comes along, these items won't go anywhere, but rather the rest of the shop will restock. These guys will stay there. Alright, so this is the gameplay loop. So we're playing against a different class. This particular class, I think, is really strong in the early game. I don't know what people who play this game a lot think. But this coffin makes it so that something that triggers inside of it, and items do trigger, certain, weapons attack every couple seconds, but things like the banana give us stamina and heal us every, I think it's like 4 or 5 seconds, something to that effect. And when they trigger inside of this coffin, it applies poison. You'll see the debuff down here. So we can hide this real quick and I can show you guys. So poison damage lingers over time. It does damage to us. This person lost probably just because they went for a piggy bank, which is kind of like a little bit of an investment. You spend a little bit of money early so that every round you get a little bit of extra gold, and you can combine it with stuff. And you'll see here they added that it has star functionality. So if it's next to the appropriate item, it says it has a 25% chance. Wait, no. Start of battle. Gain 2 maximum health for each start of battle item. And none of these items are start of battle items. Sorry for any confusion there. We're going to get into all that stuff later. But we won our first trophy. We didn't lose any hearts. We're good to go. What we really want to see right now, and I'll probably buy this as well, I'm going to roll a backpack. So just a basic leather bag usually costs 4 as a base. So I'm going to roll here. Frying pan's a decent weapon for if you're trying to build a food synergy here. But early game, you're typically going to get a leather bag when you need one. This healing herb gives us 2 regeneration. So heals 1 health per stack every 2 seconds. And we got it on sale, which is excellent. We want to get the whetstone to upgrade our wooden sword if possible. And you see here we're at medium stamina usage. That's pretty okay. Nothing else to buy here. We have no money. And we're going to see our first combination here. So let's see. Now we see a spear, a slightly stronger weapon. I gotta say, this person appears to me to be very... We might lose to them, but their layout is very suboptimal. And I should have hit it for a second, maybe to explain why, before I call out people's builds. But there was a way there to get more stuff doing poisoning, and also more stuff in other bags that increase speed of attack. But the person just wasn't optimal, and they didn't need it to beat me, which was quite sad. So here, so the blue line means something here can attach and potentially upgrade, but the yellow line means that it will be upgraded at the end of the next turn. So I could turn that off. Let's say I don't want the wooden sword to combine with these whetstones. I can make it so that this item is locked, and I'll keep my whetstones instead of them disappearing into there. So let's go ahead and start the battle. And don't worry too much about losing in the early game. I don't. So once again, not a very optimal build. Like, not at all. Let me hide this and just tell you guys so you know what I'm thinking a little bit, because that's the fun of the game, is understanding what's optimal and what's not. This storage coffin, you want to put stuff inside of it that activates throughout the battle, because as it activates, you get a 25% chance to inflict a poison. This activates, this activates, this activates. This, I think, technically activates once. These probably technically activate once. But these 3 things activate a lot. So you could put this here, or put this here, with this here. Then you get the bonus of having 2 food items together, which you'll see there. Food triggers 10% faster for each food of a different type next to each other, right? Then you stick this on top here or here, put your double whetstone, whatever. There's a way to do this that I think would make it way more optimal. And I'm, of course, glad they didn't do that, because probably would have crushed me. So now our wooden sword has been upgraded into a hero sword. Stronger weapon, right? Better stats in general, but also any weapon placed near it gets bonus 2 damage. So we're getting bonus 2 damage on our broom when the battle starts. So there are different types of bags, right? We have our ranger bag that we start with. We have these leather bags, but there's also a stamina sack, which gives us 3 slots, but also increases our maximum stamina by 1, which is quite good. That's why it's an epic. Makes sense, right? We could go for something like a garlic here. Once again, rolling is going to perhaps give us things that we don't necessarily even really want. We could take some of this stuff out and just see maybe there's a more optimal way to run this. But something like this. I don't hate the onion. What the onion does, or garlic rather, what the garlic does is it gives us a little bit of armor throughout the battle every 4 seconds. Once again, brought down by 10% because it's near a banana. And also gives us a 30% chance to remove vampirism from our opponent, which is a passive that allows them to heal when they hit with a melee weapon, based on the amount of vampirism that they have. So there are some builds that really rely on vampirism, and then just having 1 garlic throughout a long fight with someone can set them back really far. And it also gives you armor and lowers the cooldown of your banana. So, as weird as that sentence was, trust me when I say it made sense. I'm going to pocket my gold for the next round, which may end up with us losing. So this person understands the game well. So Goobert is great. He heals after 5 item activations. Its stars, you'll notice, are to either side. This person has 3 weapons, which is probably taxing their stamina really hard, because you heard that like honking noise. That meant that they were out of stamina quite a bit. So that's because they have 3 weapons. So they were trying to counteract that by having 2 bananas, which does regenerate your stamina. But I could tell they know what they're doing because they have a pretty optimal configuration for their food, as well as this fanny pack, which only gives 2 backpack slots, but items trigger faster, as well as making sure that at least some of their weapons are inside of the ranger bag for the purposes of getting that bonus critical hit chance from having luck. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but just so you know, you can kind of tell when you're going up against someone who knows what they're doing versus not. So this is interesting here. Okay, I'm getting tons of phone calls and text messages. Okay. The Thorn Whip is a great weapon. What's awkward about it, though, is that it is awkwardly shaped. It's kind of like a knight in chess in the way that it moves, right? It's got this weird L shape that oftentimes makes it really hard to fit into your build, especially early. But what it does do is, first off, a lot of damage. On hit, it gains thorns. It has a slightly lower than normal accuracy at 80%. But its damage increases per thorn. So we have the Spike Shield, which has a 35% chance to prevent 4 damage and remove stamina from an opponent, but also gives us thorns up to a maximum, or spikes I should call them, up to a maximum of 3. So there's starting to be a bit of a thorn or spike synergy that we can build into. So normally I'd love to get this on sale. I'm probably just going to hold this for now, see what I get, and I'm quite happy with this. I do like to get a lot of early bags. So the other thing about the Thorn Whip is that it has a huge stamina cost, because it likes... Ooh, no, not that. That's all the items. It likes to be combined with something like the Hungry Blade to produce the Blood Thorn. Does it combine with anything else? I'm trying to remember. No, but there are other items that build into a spike build, like the Claws of Attack, the Tusk Piercer. Those are the ones off the top of my head that I'm thinking of. So let's do a little math here. We've got 12 gold. This costs 8. We are going to need a little more in terms of space in our inventory. And I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it, and we're going to move stuff around and see what we can do. So let me just, let's see. So this is where the game starts to get a little interesting. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm getting spam with like voicemails and stuff, and I don't know if it's actually important or if it's something just here to bother me. So you see here we're at very high. That is not so good. I'm tempted to get rid of this broom, and I think I will. I think we will just get rid of the broom. What I want to do here is find a way to make use of the fanny pack while also making use of the ranger bag and getting these two weapons next to each other. And this is where the game can get a little stressful, especially to play in front of other people. Sometimes maybe the solution is very obvious to you at home watching, but as I'm sitting here like talking and trying to get this stuff going, it can be a little awkward. Wait a sec. Wait a sec, wait a sec. Something to that effect. Very weird. Something like this. So we can combine this heroic potion with a banana to make, go to recipes, to make a strong heroic potion. Which, the big thing about it is it has empower, which increases our weapon damage permanently through the battle, as well as giving us a bunch of stamina back. And potions stack on top of each other in a way that allows them to have multiple uses throughout a battle. So we haven't really gotten into that yet, but we will. And you know what? Because our stamina usage is so high, I'm just going to go ahead and buy that preemptively. And we'll grab these two next turn, barring something else much better. And I can fast forward this, but I just kind of want you guys to see the action. I normally fast forward. And we're up to 4 wins, not bad. Okay, we get a little blueberry action on sale. We'll almost certainly buy that. We also see an acorn collar, which gives our items around it, or our weapons really, a critical hit chance for every lucky clover that we have. We're not really trying to build too much of a crit / luck build, though we could. Could really use 1 gold here, but we don't have it. We'll get these guys touching. Another lucky clover. I see a carrot. Like to see that. So we do have some interesting stuff going on here. We're kind of building into potions a bit. This health potion will combine with the healing herbs to make the strong health potion, which if our health drops below 50%, we consume it, heal for 18, gain 2 stacks of regeneration, and cleanse 4 poison off of ourselves. And if we stack that on top of or below the strong heroic potion, it'll do a thing as well. So we'll reserve those. We also see that we have a spear that we're not going to take even though it's on sale. And yet another win. Kind of unexpectedly. I feel like the game's going easy on us a little bit here. So we're going to buy this, the protective purse. It only gives us 1 slot, but it also gives us 4 armor or block at the start of battle. So that's great. And we like these not only for the armor, for the block, but also because they quite conveniently can fill a lot of gaps. I want these gloves of haste as well. They combine with our hero sword. Okay, pineapple is what we've been really needing. Goobert would be great as well. We've got too much stuff frozen and stuff bought that doesn't actually fit. We might just have to take a loss here. So here, a hammer. How are we doing? How are we doing? Another win, baby. Let's take a look at their build real quick, because it's kind of interesting. Lots of stones. You don't see that a lot. The stones work well with an item that's like a bag that allows them to be reused, because they only get thrown once per battle to destroy armor or block, and we don't really have any block. So it wasn't going to be very effective versus us. Plus, this person didn't put, once again, their items that constantly regenerate throughout the battle would have triggered the passive for the storage coffin multiple times. So, I don't know. It's very strange. Maybe they're hoping to get a potion build, and they're trying to combine these with the poison potions. They're trying to combine these with the, I forget the name of it. There's another potion that combines with the stones. So I'm thinking maybe that's what they're thinking. But what we really need right now is bag space. So on this particular round, we're on round 8 right now, going into round 8. We get an option of these particular items, which kind of lend themselves to a particular build. So this goes towards a kind of a lucky crit, a lot of weapons type build. This goes towards a mana focused, perhaps a regen focused build, where you have a lot of food items and you need a lot of mana really fast. It also cleanses debuffs. So you use a lot of mana, you cleanse a lot of debuffs. It works really well with the food stuff and the nature stuff, which we do kind of have a lot of. We're almost weirdly, we don't have the frying pan, which benefits from having all these foods, but we are kind of weirdly a Yggdrasil leaf kind of build. We also have poison ivy, which benefits from stacks of poison as well as gaining spikes. So we gain a lot of spikes through the thorn whip. We're hoping to buy a pineapple, which will also gain us spikes. But other than that, we don't really have any way to generate poison. Now, if we had the frying pan and one of its upgrades, which I can show you guys here, the pandemonium weapon, which makes it so that the food that's in the influence of these stars inflicts poison, then we'd have kind of this poison food synergy going with the thorns that will make the opponent take plus 20% damage once it reaches 19 poison, which is feasible if you have that much poison and spike generation, which we don't currently, but we could. So for me right now, it's very much between the Yggdrasil leaf and the poison ivy, but we don't have anything to do with mana, and we don't currently have anything to do with regeneration. So it kind of sucks. We're going to grab poison ivy speculatively, and it also has a passive that's quite useful. You have a 5% chance to resist debuffs for each nature item, and we have 4 right now, so 20% chance. And we're going to inflict poison every time Thorn Whip hits. So all good stuff. Our biggest problem right now is that we don't have enough dang bags. So even the stuff we're buying, we don't really have space for, which is a bit crummy. So once again, we're buying stuff without the space. I want both of these, but I really want bags. So we could combine Goobert with the hero sword and forget trying to upgrade the hero sword. That's definitely, that's a pretty good option. It would also allow me to sell this, recoup some of our money for that. And to be honest, it's probably a good idea. We'll get Steel Goobert, which makes it so that it's kind of a very strange item to have, because it's big and it has to be centrally located. It wants items to be on the left or the right of it, and it wants weapons to be at the top and the bottom, and obviously you can rotate it however you need. And then as it's activated, it gives you block. So But the best part about it is the more activations, yeah, you get the block, but you also, your weapons gain permanent damage. So you want to have a lot of weapons. And at the moment, we only have 2, and one of them is going to be absorbed into Goobert when we use it. So it's not great. I'd much rather maybe get 2 carrots and combine to make a carrot Goobert, which cleanses debuffs and gives us temporary empowerment, which is cool versus some builds, or even some of the other Gooberts. But for now, I think we're just going to roll. Yeah, this build, they've got a box of riches, which I love to try to get early. Spits out one of these gems every turn. Wow, we beat him. Crazy. We're doing so well for how bad I feel our build is. Okay, this is a super important round. We can afford to buy everything. That's great. That's going to allow us to make big moves this turn. We just have to figure out how we want to do it. So I'd like to not have to move every flipping thing that we've got going on here. But we're gonna definitely play around with this. Okay. Because the big deal here is we want to get Goobert upgraded with the double carrots. There's got to be a better way. I mean, this is something you just have to do in this game every now and then. Which is just try to reconfigure what you've got going on for more optimal. If you don't want to do this, then this game just isn't for you. If you think this part of the game is annoying, and I can kind of agree, it's a little annoying. But if you think this is annoying, then like I said, the game's not for you. It does require a hefty amount of reconfiguring. So we've got this one just chilling. I would very much like to make a potion here. There we go. We'll combine it. It's not optimal. If we put them together, you'll see the star activates on top. And I'll talk about what that does and what that means later. But for right now, what we really need to do is get Goobert upgraded. This banana will disappear. These 2 carrots will disappear. And our bags will look a lot more free after this. Alright, let's roll. You'll watch it slowly fill up. Ooh, they've got a lot of good weapons. So they've got a ripsaw blade, a fancy fencing rapier, a ruby whelp that is hatched from a ruby egg. Yeah, they were going to crush me. Their items are way higher quality than mine. Okay. Lots of options here. I feel like I'm getting trolled a little bit. We're going to move our stuff over a smidge. Get ourselves some more room. You can move stuff with the items still in. Just sometimes it's a little bit of a pain to try to do it. It's a feature they just added also. I'll talk about this in a second here. I did all this basically to turn these on their side so that I could do this. Every 4 seconds. This is every 3.5 seconds. So we'll put that there. It'll trigger more often. Would love to get this banana over here. I'm sure we can do. We put our minds to it. But then we won't have anything to trigger this other star. So maybe we hold off on that. We'll do this. We'll do this. Would love to get a flute. We just don't quite have the room. We need more bags, man. Cap of resilience, not quite what we're looking for. Okay. There's so much stuff we need. that could make this build so much better. We're not really getting the hookup on the thorns. But very good, 8 wins. And as I say that, we get 2 items that very much give us the hookup on the thorns. So Hungry Blade goes to combine with Thorn Whip to make Bloodthorn, which does a lot of damage and converts our regeneration and spikes into it converts regeneration into vampirism and spikes. So, and then it gets bonus damage per spikes and vampirism that you have. Sorry, I wasn't explaining that very well. We generate a ton of spikes currently because of the Thorn Whip and because of the pineapple. If we combine them, then we no longer generate thorns off the Thorn Whip. So it's kind of funny in a way because its ability gets worse after you combine it unless you have the pineapple to kind of like generate these for you. So it's tough. Or the Gin Lamp, which every 2 seconds gives you either luck, spikes, mana. Yeah, so it gives you those. And then if you end up having, and this is very rare, you have 7, 7, 7, and 7, and 27 health. Jesus. You get bonus 27 damage to an item. So it's tough to kind of pull that off. You have to have a lot of those generators going. You can do it in the late game, but it's tough. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the leather bag and set this up like so. Not that it's probably ever going to do anything. I'm just going to stick this here for now. I don't see a way to use it better than the way I'm currently using it. Either, which is to say not at all. It's not doing anything in its current position. It needs to be facing an item that has a cooldown. As a matter of fact, I mean, it does nothing. Let's go ahead and save the Hungry Blade. Yeah, we're actually doing kind of a lot with the little bit that we've been given. This is stronger than us. The fancy fencing rapier is an insane weapon. In the right build. Okay, we buy bags right away. Let's go ahead and put that there. Put that there. Put that here. Would love to get a ruby egg. It's a little late in the game for that. You want to try to get one of these early so that they can hatch. The good thing about them, not only do they reflect 2 debuffs, but once they hatch, so they're kind of a bit of an investment. For 2 rounds, they sort of suck, and they take up a lot of space. But once they hatch... Wait, where's the... Wait. I thought it used to show these guys. It shows them on the other characters thing because they can upgrade the dragons. But once it turns into the whelp, it's a weapon essentially. It does damage, but it requires no stamina, which is why it's very good. So we could also use this mana orb to turn the Hungry Blade into a Mana Thirst, which is also great. I'll hover over that for a bit more. Very low stamina cost item, that a weapon that can do a lot of damage. But we're trying to make a particular weapon here. And that would be cool because it would make use of the mana that we're generating with the lamp and the blueberries. So the reason we have these potions stacked, and I didn't really go into it, and yeah, we're going to lose here, is the effect you can read at the bottom. And you see this blue line that denotes it. After being consumed, also applies the effect of the star potion without consuming it. So if we drop below 50% health, it uses this potion and uses this potion without actually using it. So then you get another use of it. So because I think I'm going to be losing health faster than I'm going to be running out of stamina, although that fight I probably could have switched them because we had very high stamina usage. I left them in this order, and yeah, so you saw I got the benefit of it. It didn't help me much, but I did get the benefit. So here we're going to do a little bit of a revamp because we don't have our weapons taking up a ton of space anymore. We're actually going to do a big revamp. Let's do something like this. And what I see here is an opportunity to finally upgrade that. It might be a little too late. I'm also going to take a Ripsaw Blade. Would love to get a lightsaber, which would make use of some of our regen, but that's also what this does. So we don't want two weapons competing to use the same resource that we have very little of. We don't really have a good way to generate it. Healing herbs would allow us to do that better. But what the Ripsaw Blade does is it removes spikes and regen from our opponent, while also just being a really good item. Let's go ahead and add that back. Yeah, we can keep that up there. That doesn't matter. Would love to make multiple strong health potions that would build into our Bloodthorn. This needs to point at something. How are we going to make that happen? Is there a way to make that happen while also... We'll do a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Okay, that's fine. Would like very much... This would require quite the move. To get this here is what I'm thinking. That would require us to move everything up one. I want to win. I want to try to win. So I will attempt to do this correctly. Okay, chill. There we go. Let's move you up. I'm trying just to click on the... There we go. There we go. Okay. Not so difficult after all. So, we added crit chance at the expense of not getting the whetstone bonus for a turn. I don't think that's a huge deal simply because these whetstones are going away next turn. This is a good item too. I'm not going over every single item right now, but we've got some good stuff in here. That time our potions triggered out of order. But it looks like we're going to win this one. Excellent. Getting us up to 9 wins. Very good. And a great item we love to see. And we're also going to get this Hero Longsword, which is just a better version of what we had before. It's a little bit bigger, but now it gives +4 weapon damage. And we also get a chance to get the Glowing Crown. We've got a bunch of stuff here. We'd love to get a Thorn Whip. What is sucking all of our stamina? Is it just these two? It's kind of a lot. Let's switch these. This weapon is great. It uses some of the luck that we generate from the Gen Lamp. The Thorn Whip synergizes much better with the Bloodthorn. This will finally let us use some of the mana that we generate to heal ourselves, as well as cleanse any blind that we might have. And after accumulating 10 mana, we'll become invulnerable 1 time for 2 seconds. So this is like a must buy as far as I'm concerned, and we will buy it. I kind of wish I could get rid of this Ripsaw Blade for a Thorn Whip. I think that could be a smart move, as well as potentially turning this Gloves of Haste into a... Watch. Let's go ahead and look at the recipe. Into a Claws of Attack. We have so much stamina usage. Though our stamina is 10 because we have so many of those bags. The stamina sacks. You know what? I'm going to let it ride here. I'm not going to alter our build too much. I think at this point we just need to get powerful stuff. Oh, sorry guys, I actually wasn't thinking. I didn't mean to fast forward so much. The cool thing about our build is they're trying to hit us with a lot of poison, and we were able to cleanse a bunch of it. Now we still lost, but that was what was going to be cool about it. We're gonna buy this health potion here. Bring that there. Let's go ahead and roll. Love to see this. Would love to get another crown as well. There's definitely a way to use this to our advantage. And it probably revolves around this. Let's see. Stack that there. Stack that there. Yeah, this makes our gloves suck. We get a little bit of benefit. Not a ton. Would love to get both of these. We need more bags. You know what? I'm just going to grab this. The dragon skin boots. Health drops below 70%. We gain 1 luck, 1 empower, and 8 armor. Not bad. Yeah, our first dagger that we've seen. We've kind of, without really understanding this game very well, it's hard to know how badly I feel like we've been screwed on items. Daggers are great. They have tons and tons of combinations. Bloody daggers, poison daggers, and spectral daggers that you can make from them. And they're great because they cost no stamina. So we could have tons of daggers with tons of effects. And they're also small and relatively inexpensive. So they're great weapons for the game, but we haven't really seen any. We also haven't gotten any gems or the option to buy anything that gives us gems. So here we go. Can we beat this build? I don't know. It's a pretty damn good build. I love the double lucky pig into the spike shield. It raises the chance that the spike shield will trigger. So that's going to be it for us. We didn't get to 10. I didn't get to show you guys the overtime, but that's been 42 minutes of me talking, which is quite a bit. And we didn't really lose any rank. That's cool. But when we come back next time, guys, I'll probably play a little bit faster, talk a little bit less. But I wanted to sort of introduce you to the mechanics. And next time when we come back, like I said, I'll play a little bit on speedy mode, so you can get maximum dopamine with minimal, you know, elementary school education. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Brett, channel's Goodtalk Gaming, and as always, y'all, I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.